Hello and welcome to Outside the Box Soaps. Today I'm going to be making some toasted hazelnut cupcakes, and I'm going to be doing pretty basic, just a brown and a white, and I might leave some natural for the cupcake piece, and then I'm going to pipe on top of the cupcakes. And I also have a little embed that I piped that I'm going to put right on the top, and we'll see how this goes. So today I'm using a toasted hazelnut fragrance from Nature's Garden, and it really is, I really like it a lot. It's very nutty, very pleasant smell to it. So let's get started. I'm going to add my lye water. So what I have in here, my oils, is coconut, shea, castor, coconut, shea, castor. It just slipped my mind and my list is downstairs. So I have coconut palm, shea, those are my hards. Then I have castor and olive. And I have also added in some kaolin clay to my fragrance. I've added some goat milk powder into the mix, and also some colloidal oatmeal to make this a very nice skin-friendly bar. So, sodium lactate added to my lye water, and we're going to add that in right now. Okay, so let's get this mixed up. So I'm not doing swirling. I'm going to do a little bit of swirling, but not a lot. I'm not terribly concerned about thickness right now because this is going to be pretty simple, and half of this batter is going to end up getting very firm to be my piping soup. So I'm not going to worry about too much about blending. Alright, so it is looking emulsified. I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do though is take about half of this out, because half will go towards pouring the little cakes, and the other half is going to go towards my frosting. So let me just separate out just about half of this. You don't want to add the fragrance in just yet. I want to kind of give it, get it separated before I go there. And of course, I'm eyeballing it, which is never the best way to do it, but I'm going to leave about that much. I think this here will be plenty to do my piping, and I'm hoping that what's left in the bowl is going to fill up my containers. So, coloring. I'm going to actually split this once again because I want some brown for my piping and also for my cupcakes, and I'm going to have some natural for my cupcakes as well. And then I'm going to take some of the natural that's left here And I'm going to make that white with some titanium dioxide for the frosting. Okay, so let's see. I'm hoping that I get these proportions right. So what I'm going to do next is I have just some brown mica that's mixed up in here. So I'm going to add that in to this portion. So we've got a nice rich brown going here, because hazelnuts, especially when they're toasted, are a pretty rich brown. So what I'm going to do for the cupcakes is I'm going to do a drop swirl, and I'm going to add some of this brown into my my uncolored base here. And that, I'm going to take this other uncolored and just put it aside for now, because that'll be frosting. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to use this and brown to do my cupcakes. But first I need to add my fragrance. And there is kaolin clay mixed in here with the fragrance. So I'm just using my mini blender right now to get that all combined. And I'm going to put the majority of it in here. Going to add some to the brown. And then I'm also going to add some to that base color, which is not colored. It's sort of sitting on the side right now. So let me take a moment, stick blend fragrance into the brown. Now this fragrance does have vanilla content, so I have used vanilla stabilizer, and I noticed that it just lightened up my brown here. I don't know if it's going to stay that way or if it'll go back to a dark brown, but I never thought about really using that vanilla stabilizer in a brown soap. So let's get fragrance mixed in here. That all blended up. Then I'm going to just take my my third portion here and get my fragrance incorporated in there as well. So let me come back to you when we're ready to pour. So my next step, what I'd like to do is to do an in the pot swirl with the brown and the base color as is, because the center of hazelnuts are not really white. They're sort of a little bit off-white. So I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to take some of this brown and stir it up a bit. And then I think that I also want to stir up my base color. Here we go. And I'm going to pour this. I'm going to do an in the pot swirl. It's a little thick, so I'm not really concerned because I'm going to swirl it with the spoon before I actually pour. And try to get a nice little swirl going in there. And then I think that it will also swirl up a bit when it pours. So my cupcake portion is now ready to go. So let's get the cupcake pan in here. And I am using silicone liners. I do like them in the pan because they keep things a little bit more firm. So we're going to start filling our cupcakes. Hopefully I got enough here to do them all. And it is a little thick, but I'm going to try to even that out a bit with the spatula once I get pretty good amount filled in here. Making a mess as usual. Alright, so I'm going to pause. I'm going to try to clean this up a bit and bring you back when they're all nice and settled. So here are the cleaned up cupcakes sitting in the cupcake pan, and I've got my piping bags ready. So I'm going to get started on doing my piping. Now, for some reason, I have not been able to get white. It's more like a banana yellowish color that I'm getting here. So, as we do many times, we're just going to go with it because there's not really a whole lot I can do about it right now. So, there's my first one. And I'm going to do my peaks in the center. This is just going to guide me as I pipe around. And what I'm going to do is attempt, I've got two different tips that I'm using here. One is for this yellowish white. The other is for the brown. So I'm gonna first do a yellowish white row. If I can manage to do this with what I've got left. Not liking the way this is looking, so let me just fix that one up a bit. And the soap at this point has gotten pretty thick, as you can imagine. But it is still, at least this one, is still flowing through the piping bag. The problem I'm having is that I'm not too happy about the design that's coming out because it's a petal tip, but because it's so thick, the petals are sort of separating out. But we're just, again, we're going to go with it. We're going to see what we end up with here. It's all art, and there's definitely science to soap making, but in terms of design is what it is, so there's room for negotiation around the way that something should look when it's done, and especially when we're talking about piping. So I'm just trying to make sure I get all the rims around the edges. And it looks even at this point like I've got a hole in my piping bag. So let me just see what I can do with the rest of these. Hopefully we'll get down below the hole soon. And since this is pretty repetitive, I'm going to just come back when I'm done with the white piping. So we've got a vanilla layer on each cupcake. Now we're going to try the chocolate. It is a little harder in texture, and it has a different tip in it. So I'm going to just try and see what I can do here. Hopefully we can get it to come out through the bag. And it's coming out. It's taking a lot of strength, but it is going to come out. So okay, so rather than have you witness all this insanity, I'm going to just do this round and then I'll bring you back for the embeds. I'm back with my piped cupcakes. As you can see, I was able to squeeze out enough of the lighter colored and the toasted hazelnut brown color to get some on each cupcake, which is what I was hoping to do. And of course, I would have liked for them to be a little taller and a little better, a little more well shapen in terms of the piping, but you know, it did get hard, it did move quickly, and so you do the best with what you have to work with. And so I just kept going. I didn't want to stop. I wanted to just keep going. So I'm going to try to dress these up a little bit, and what I'm going to do is try a little bit of gold sparkle drip, gold sparkle mica drip on them. And I'm looking at this, and I actually don't think I have enough of the gold mica in there, so it's looking kind of watery. So I'm just going to add some extra mica to my oil, because when it dries out, if I don't do that, what will happen is the oil will dry up and there just won't be enough of the sparkle. So forgive me, I'm going to have to take a glove off. I can't get this bag open without doing that. So just adding some more gold sparkle mica to my little mix here. And just stir that up. Just blend it. Make sure we've got a good mix. There we go. Okay. So that's looking a little bit better. And I'm going to just kind of sprinkle some of this over these, just to give it a little bit of a pizzazz. It didn't really come out color-wise the way I was planning. The white looks like a banana yellow, and unfortunately the cake doesn't have any banana scent, so I'm gonna have to come up with a name for it that would kind of match the fragrance and how it looks. Or I could just call it my version of toasted hazelnut, and just leave it at that. So mica dripping I'm going to try to move a little quicker here for you. I've kind of lost my fascination with soap cupcakes for some reason. Don't know why. I mean, I think they're very nice and people do them very, very well. But it seems to me, and I'm sure that with the holidays coming up, a lot of people will consider these to be a nice gift for someone. But for some reason, I haven't done very many, but I seem to be more interested in trying to figure out how to get certain looks in a bar using swirls and things like that. So I haven't experimented very much with cakes and cupcakes. I've done more real food cakes than I've done soap cakes, which you would think would make me interested in doing more soap cakes, but anyway, it didn't work out that way. And I'm sort of reaching the end of my sparkle mica here. And it looks like we'll have one with no sparkle mica, but that's okay. So the other thing that I'm going to add to this is I did want to add some gold glitter, and I also have some embeds that I made. So these are the little embeds. I sort of piped them a few days ago on these little parchment squares that I bought from eBay. And here's what the embed looks like. It's just sort of a little frosted curl. And it just has some glitter and a little bit of silver sugar pearls on top. So I'm going to just add these to the top and press them in to sort of finish it off, and hopefully that will add and make them a little more appealing, and just to add a little bit of pizzazz to the cupcake. And they should stick because these are not terribly hardened yet. They're a few days old, but they did take a while to firm up. So I think that they'll be fine. And since my my new cupcakes are still in the process of turning into soap, I think that we'll be fine. I just want to push them in enough to make sure the base gets a good anchor inside of the soup, so that as it dries, it won't loosen up. And when people go to use it, it won't just plop right off the first time that they use it. Hopefully it'll stay for a little bit. It's interesting because if you look at these embeds, I'm going to try to focus in for you. There's a glitter that I used, and it's very pretty, and it starts out gold. But this is the second time that I've put it on my soaps, and after it cures, it ends up turning to an orange, and I'm not quite sure what causes that because they're really different recipes. So I'm sure that it's not just one ingredient that's making that happen. So I do want to add just a little bit more shimmer. I'm going to get some glitter and put it on. So I'm adding two different glitters here. This is a gold. This is not the one I just referenced that tends to turn orange. This is a different one. And this is sort of like a fairy dust. I really like the way this goes on. It's a very light and fine sort of sparkle that it gives to your soap. So I don't have any of the little squeezy bottles, so I'm just gonna do it by hand. And since this one has been a little long, and I'm sure you don't need to see me sit here putting glitter on, I'm going to pause and then I'll bring you back when they're all done so you can see the finished product. Here we are, all done, and I'm going to need to go take a shower. I've got glitter and soap batter all over me. But you can see how these look. And I will allow them some time to set up, and I will definitely post some pictures of the finished product. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience. This was a bit of a rough one. And please subscribe to our channel if you like to keep up with what we're doing here, and have a happy soaping day. And thanks again for watching. We truly appreciate it. Take care.